Y'all join me in the invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful for this cooler weather. Lord, we're grateful for the opportunity to serve you and to serve our community. Lord, we want to be a blessing to our residents here, and we want to also honor you in all that we do. Father, be with us today as we go over our county's business. Help us to make wise choices, and thank you for all you do for us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Good morning. Today we've got a few announcements first, and these are all from our Extension office. We'll start. The first one is the Harrison County Extension Office won first place in the 23-24 Division 5 4-H Enrollment Award with 81 new members, which is a 182.6% increase. Raciel, would you like to come and comment, you and Jennifer?
Yes, please.
On these things, tell us how you blew up your numbers, how it's going.
Well, as you can see, it's amazing. We've had 182.6 increase with 81 new members, and it's all thanks to Jennifer. And we, the staff, all of the Extension office, we truly appreciate the court believing in our 4-H program, because it has made a difference. Jennifer is just not one dimensional, you know, she's just not ag, or she's just not family and community health. I mean, she's very diverse. We have kids participating in the archery, shooting sports, food show, food challenge, just about every project. When you say we even have robotics, we had a camp this summer at TSCC. That's a very new partnership, so I'm very excited about that. Jennifer, you want to say anything? Okay. And so as you see on our next announcement, the office did win the District 5 Interdisciplinary Award. And with that award, it's an award given to a county office, and in District 5 there are 22 counties, and with an interdisciplinary award, it means all agents, including the staff, we work together regardless of whatever their common goal is, and so we won an award for that. And then our third announcement, I'd like for Ms. Sheila Harris to come forward, and then we do want to take a picture with our awards with the court.
Well, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to be here this morning. I'm Sheila Harris. I'm the District Extension Administrator for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. So with all of these wonderful things that you're hearing about the Harrison County 4-H program, I want to thank the Judge, Commissioners for approaching AgriLife. And as you know, Jennifer has been serving as Harrison County 4-H Program Assistant. But I'm here today to present her as our sole candidate to be an AgriLife, full-time AgriLife 4-H agent here in Harrison County. And so if you don't know just a little bit about Jennifer, of course, she's been here since May of 2023. She grew up as a 4-H member in Tatum over in Rusk County. She had earned her BS in agribusiness from Texas A&M Commerce, and she's currently working on her master's degree also at Texas A&M Commerce. So today I'm here to present Jennifer for approval to be the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension 4-H agent here serving Harrison County. And if approved, this will take effective on November the 1st.
Fantastic. We were all, we we were already happy with Jennifer, and we'll be even happier with this
Yes.
promotion is what it
Yes,
amounts to.
correct.
And the extra contribution that the Extension Office is making, we're not going to reduce the funding for our extension program. We'll just move those funds that the county saves to more programs. So you may be even busier, Jennifer. I'm not sure how you're going to do that.
I'm getting more volunteers now, so that's
Fantastic. You'll need them.
Yes.
You'll need them. Anyway, we're very excited for you, and thank you, Ms. Harris,
Yes.
for
Well, thank
what
y'all.
you
We
did.
appreciate all your support very
You
much.
bet. You bet. Thank y'all. Would you would like a picture?
Sure.
Y'all, here, let's go down. And we do have a proclamation today, also under the announcement that, and it's pretty appropriate, I'd say, that this week is National 4-H Week, celebrated here the 6th through the 12th. So this whole week is 4-H week, and certainly a great week to honor Jennifer as our 4-H agent. Are there any other announcements, anything from anybody? Any public comments? If not, we do have a quorum present today. Present and voting, Precinct 1 is Commissioner Hatfield, Precinct 2 is Commissioner Timmons, Sims presiding, Precinct 4 is Commissioner Ebarb. Commissioner Malden is out of town today. It is 9:10 a.m. We'll call to order our Harrison County Commissioners Court. We're here in the historic courtroom of the Harrison County Courthouse, Historic Courthouse here in Marshall, Texas on October the 8th,
Thank you, Matt.
2024. Our first item this morning is from our auditor, our administrative report. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. You should have a copy of the August 2024 financial reports. Please keep in mind these are unaudited and unadjusted fund balances. If you'll refer to page 1, you'll note that we have $32,354,437 in fund balance. On page 2 is a summary of the general fund. As of August 2024, we have collected $28,121,499 in comparison to $24,459,983 in FY23. That is an increase of almost $3.7 million or 14.97%. At the bottom of the page is a summary of our expenditures. As of August 2024, we have spent $23,704,571 in comparison to $20,177,618 in FY23. That's an increase of $3.5 million or 17.48%. On page 3 is a perspective of the net position for the general fund. We have collected $4.4 million more in revenue than we have spent in FY24 in comparison to $4.3 million in FY23. On page 4 is a summary of the Road and Bridge Fund. As of August 2024, we have collected $9,804,755 in comparison to $5,894,097 in FY '23. That's an increase of $3.9 million. The majority of that is due to our motor graders that we sold in addition to insurance proceeds. From an expense perspective, as of August 2024, we have spent $8,369,074 in comparison to $4,804,152. That's an increase of $3.6 million. Keep in mind, the balloon payment and the purchase of the motor graders are in those numbers. On page 5 is a summary of the net position for the Road and Bridge Fund. We have collected $1,435,681 more in revenue versus $1,089,945 in FY '23. On page 6 is a summary of the revenue in comparison to the budget by department. On page 11 begins the summary of expenses in comparison to budget by department. On page 16 is a summary of our debt, and of course we have zero debt. And that's all I have for the August financials.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Any questions for Ms. Haynes on our administrative reports? If not, we'll move on to item number 1. That's consideration and approval regarding line item transfers.
I'm requesting transferring $103,491.81 between line items.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills.
Requesting payment of $1,295,670.85. Included in that is a one-time our annual payment of $392,000 for our liability insurance. And this also includes the payment for Lansing Switch, which will be reimbursed by the net RMA grant. A portion will be reimbursed by the net RMA grant.
Very good, and I believe they are done with that.
They have one more step to take, the fog seal.
Fog seal, okay, so,
Finish it this week.
very good. All right, is there a motion to approve payment of our regular bills?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for September 27, 2024.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes
Thank you.
4-0. Thank you, ma'am. Next up is Road and Bridge Department. Mr. Davis will give us an administrative report. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Commissioners, how y'all doing? So our final figures on our construction, we had 15.864 miles completed by county forces and the contractor on Lansing Switch. We had 10.669 miles chip sealed. The total's 26.533 miles completed or chip sealed this year. So it was a pretty good year.
Again, good.
So right now the contract mowers started back up this week. They started up in the Woodlawn area. They'll swing by Caddo Lake area, Wascom area. They go clockwise this time of the year.
Perfect timing. I think if they get it mowed right now, it won't do any growing.
That's right. It'll be just right
nice.
for the holidays.
Super, super.
And we're continuing to focus on our storm debris cleanup. We've got to January of 2025 to get everything we can cleaned up for the some of the FEMA reimbursement. So we're focusing heavy on it. And we've, routine maintenance, patching overlays, and we've got a couple of drainage projects we're working on Tally Road, Estisville Road, and Judge Fair Road, and several areas in the county trying to get ready for our fall rains.
You do think it will rain?
I don't know. It's been pretty dry. I was just glad to see it cool down.
Yeah.
But that's about all I have on the administrative report.
You guys have any questions, Mr. Davis? If not, we'll move on to item number 1, consideration approval of personnel changes for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
We've had no changes since our last court meeting.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration approval of the utility application submitted to the Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. Gemini Carthage Pipeline LLC, which is Strickland Springs Road, County Road 1105, and CenterPoint Energy on George Ives Road, which is County Road 2001.
Yeah, Gemini it's gonna be a high pressure gas line. And on George Ives, it's a natural gas line for a single service, and they all meet our standards specified and outlined in our utilities application.
Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of 3 enterprise fleet management quotes for 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500 HD chassis. That's quote numbers 813-5698, 5699, and 5648. These are 3 one-ton chassis. I guess y'all are getting those work beds on there, or dump beds.
Yes, sir. These are quotes for the vehicles that were approved for FY 2025. These units are going to be replacing some of these other units that are going through their cycle that will go back to them in 2025. So it's just replacing the ones going back to Enterprise.
Are you keeping the same work beds, or are they getting new, or how's that working?
Well, we're gonna try to keep some of the beds. Some of them we're gonna, on the dump truck, the little dump trucks, we're definitely gonna keep the beds, have them swap it over.
Okay.
Save us some money.
Is there any way that we can kind of track these when we turn some back in where we've spent thousands of dollars for equipment on them, and then we roll them back as to what they bring when they sell them? Because if we're not even scratching what we've invested in equipment, aftermarket equipment on beds and that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure
started saving the toolboxes and stuff like that.
anything that would.
Yeah, anything that we can take off, we do take them off. So we're trying to save every penny we can, so.
Y'all been doing a good job on that too, Luke, on recycling that equipment, those add-ons.
Yeah, as long as they're not real beat up and scratched up, we definitely take it off and reuse them.
Good deal.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 4 is consideration and approval of the 4 enterprise fleet management quotes for the 2025 Chevy Silverado half tons 1500s. These are quote numbers 814, 3883, 3882, 3901, and 3881. I'm assuming these are replacements also?
Yes, sir.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons,
Second.
second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Next up is our treasurer. Good morning, Ms. Rushing.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and approval of the Harrison County Treasurer's investment report for the month of August 2024.
For the month of August 2024, in Texas class, the beginning balance, was $1,161,991.86. We earned $5,144.88, with an ending balance of $1,112,136.74. In Ameriprise, we have $945,609.38. Texas Bank and Trust Wealth Management, we have $22,641,722.15 with a total investment of $24,699,468.27. It is beginning to come down, but as tax dollars we're fixing to start taking in, it'll start climbing again. Our investment interest for the month of August was $125,393.55. For Texas Bank and Trust Money Market, we earned interest of $27,870.70. And Texas Bank and Trust main account, we earned interest of $1,688.05. So in total investment, total interest earned for the month of August was $160,097.18. And the yearly interest total through August fiscal year of 24 through August of 24 was $1,490,173.03.
That's not year-to-date? That's
Year-to-date,
August?
the
Okay.
$1,490,173.03 is year-to-date.
Is October 1 through into August?
Correct.
Okay.
We have one more month to include, and it will go over $1.5 million.
Fantastic. Any questions, comments for Ms. Rushing on our treasurer's monthly investment report? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Ebar, was that a second, Commissioner
That'd
Hatfield?
be a second, yes.
All right. Second by Commissioner Hatfield, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for August 2024 and authorization on the county, to publish on the county website pursuant to local government code section 114.026.
Beginning balance for August of '24 was $6,721,573.83. Receipts totaling $6,098,993.48. Our disbursements was $6,348,316.39. Cash ending, plus our investment total of the $24,699,468.27. So our cash plus investments for the month of August of 2024 is $31,171,719.19.
Is there a motion to approve treasurer's monthly report for August 2024? Motion by Commissioner Timmons. Second by Commissioner Ebar. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Rushing.
Thank you, sir.
Next up this morning is our Sheriff Administrative Report. Good morning, Sheriff Fletcher. Good morning.
Your Honor, Commissioners, yes. Our activity summary is for 9/4 through 10/1, so almost a complete month. Just so we know, these numbers don't reflect our calls for DPS and our other Wascom and Hallsville agencies that we deal with. This is just HCSO. We answered 2,414 calls for service, took 232 criminal reports, assigned 66 reports to the Criminal Investigation Division for further investigation, arrested 93 individuals, did 410 traffic contacts, dealt with 3 mentals, 35 transports for the warrants and mental transport division for 7,657 miles. We received 137 legal documents. We served 72 personal services, 17 indictment precepts were served in the jail, 21 tax postings, 28 county and district postings, and 1 for the Harrison County Appraisal District tax sale, for a total of 139 served. We sent out 815 juror summons. The jail population on average as of 10/1 was 294 inmates. We're also housing 1 for Marion County's overpopulation and 28 for the Federal Marshals, U.S. Marshal Service, a total of 29 contract inmates.
Sheriff, that seems about like 50 or 60 more inmates than normal.
It is up. TDC is not currently picking up, and I guess I'm gonna have to send out to bill them again before they're gonna come get them. I've tried calling, I've tried visiting, and apparently the system is just backed up, is what I'm being told. And as soon as I can get some more out, we will. We did get with the district attorney last week, and we got 11 out on some minor charges that could be settled fairly quickly, and got a little headroom, but still need about 40 more to go. So
What's the max capacity?
330, without using the old annex jail, which it won't pass inspection. So our fire marshal's office has between 9/1 and 9/30 did 1 citation, 2 fire inspections, 12 illegal dumping cases, picked up 6,300 cubic foot of litter, and answered 2 structure fires. Answered 9 complaints, 4 notice of violations, 1 citation, 24 inspections, 19 Upshur Rural electric utility hookups, 17 Panola Harrison electric utility hookups. Did 21 single permits for a total of $7,560, 3 commercial for $1,680, for a total money collected of $9,240. Correct? And that is the end of my activity summary for the month.
Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions on the Sheriff's administrative report? If not, we'll move on to item number 1. Is consideration approval of 3 enterprise fleet management quotes for 2025. These are F-150s. Quote, the first quote is 829-6090, 6082, and 6086. And I believe these are also replacements.
They're all replacements,
All
yes.
replacements. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 2 is consideration approval of 3 enterprise fleet management quotes for the 2024 Dodge Durangos. This is the first one's quote number 830-1318, 1466, and 1491. Are these replacing the Durangos you had, or they're replacing Explorers?
They're replacing Explorers.
Explorers, all right.
Can't get them right now.
Yep. But y'all been happy with the Durangos, isn't that right?
Had an overheating problem with them when the first ones got, I think all but one, and but we got that fixed, and they've been good since.
Good
It ended up a recall deal, I think. So.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank our sheriff. This morning, he was on the news, KTVS, and evidently we've been having some problems.
Scams, yes, sir. Well, the state of Texas and TCOLE decided that it was a good idea to make all of our names and ranks of each department you work for public information on their website. Since doing that in September, we have been inundated in scam calls of people using correct title and names and locations of departments. I believe this week we had 1 person taken for $10,000. We had 2 yesterday, 1 for $2,400 and 1 for $3,000. We keep advising our public that first of all, we don't take money. But second of all, if you have a warrant, we're not going to call you and tell you you have a warrant, because that is not an officer safety issue. We would rather you be surprised by the warrant and we get you offhand and you not know it's coming. On top of that, we don't call and offer you a buyout for your warrant. So that's basically what they're doing. They're using, this week has been Lieutenant Fuller's name. I think the last 2 or 3 weeks was myself, Chief Revis, and Captain Clayton. So, we're trying to hit it off everywhere we can. We've been making regular posts. If y'all have Facebook, please share it and help us get it out. But it's really becoming an issue. We probably had a dozen or more just yesterday call in about it. So, and they're sending the money through kiosks. So where it's going, I have no idea.
Hope you catch them. Yeah. Thank you, Sheriff, very much. Next up, from purchasing. Good morning, Ms. Haynes.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Item number 1 is consideration and approval to accept agreements from Rudd Alarms for monthly monitoring of fire alarm systems at the Fire Marshal and Road Bridge buildings. Fire Marshal's office and Road Bridge offices.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on, so I guess we do not have any monitoring out there, is that right?
Yes, sir. They did not have a signed agreement, and they were not monitoring.
And this covers both of them?
Yes, sir.
For $45 a month,
I think there's 2 separate agreements, one for
Yeah.
each building. Yes, sir.
$90 a month total.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Item number 2 is consideration and action regarding the approval of an application to Texas Bank and Trust to obtain a credit card to be used by Darla Haynes, our purchasing agent for the Harrison County Purchasing Department, with authorization for Sherry Rushing, the treasurer, to be added to the account for administrative purposes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Last item for purchasing, number 3, is consideration and action to approve the removal of previous purchasing agents, Vicky Collier, Kendall Russell, Sadie Harkins, and Brady Williams, from the Citibank credit card for purchases by Harrison County Purchasing Department effective October 8th, 2024, and with all purchases approved before this date to remain payable to Harrison County unless said purchase is canceled. Their motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Thank you for cleaning all this up. Obviously, we needed to do
Yes.
it.
And we're still working on it.
Is this card, this last item where we're removing y'all past users, are y'all gonna retain it or just cut
No,
it
sir.
off since you're getting
Phasing
the new
it
one?
out. We're
Okay.
phasing it out. We've had a lot of issues
You
with
just
it.
use
And we're,
them.
yes, and I feel more comfortable using a local one and having somebody in another department being admin too that can handle things.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Thank you, ma'am. All right, under new business, item number 1 is consideration and approval of the resolution of assignment of private activity bond authority to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs and containing other provisions relating to the subject. This item was brought to us by Richard Anderson, who is chairman of the East Texas Housing Finance Corporation, and they are including a number of the counties that they serve for this private assignment of bond for housing. I believe this is the one that takes some federal dollars and makes them available for first-time home buyers. No cost to the county, but each county does have to approve this item. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the assignment between East Texas Housing Finance Corporation and the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, and this is along the same lines. The first one was a resolution approving it, and this is us approving the assignment from East Texas Housing Finance to Texas Department of Housing. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions or comments?
Is this just extending something that's already in play?
I think it's a new program. It's some new dollars that the state's making available for first-time home buyers.
About 35 years.
$40 million. We need to go get in line, don't we? We've got a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of the transfer of lease from the Northeast Texas. Well, it's actually a transfer of lease from the Boys and Girls Club to the Northeast Texas Soccer Association, that's NETSA, to take responsibility of Flowers Field as well as the following accounts. They'll be responsible for the water for the city of Marshall, East Texas Septic contract for sewer, Republic Services for trash and waste, and their account with SWEPCO for electricity. SWEPCO has the soccer fields address, but the Boys and Girls Club have been receiving all three locations under one bill, so that'll be changed. So we've had an agreement with the Boys and Girls Club. Northeast Texas Soccer Association is going to take responsibility for Flowers Field, which is out on Buck Sherrod. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Number 4 is consideration and approval of the resolution of the Commissioners Court of Harrison County, Texas, to authorize the submission of a Texas Community Development Block Grant Program application to the Texas Department of Agriculture for the Community Development Fund in support of Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. for 2025 grant funding and acceptance of $15,000 in matching funds from Gum Springs Water Supply Corp. Morning, Mr. Todd.
Yes, here is our check for the matching funds of $15,000, as well as a resolution and a letter on the back stating, 2 letters here to give you to sign, showing we're giving you the check and for the funding.
Fantastic. So you guys will remember last year we went through this same process, and we weren't successful in securing this grant for Gum Springs, but we're going to get it done this year. And so thank you, Mr. Todd, for providing us with documents and a check. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Item number 5 is consideration and approval of the resolution approving the financing by the New Hope Cultural Education Facilities Finance Corporation for Superior Living Foundation, Inc. regarding skilled nursing health facilities located within Harrison County, Texas, to issue bonds or notes in a maximum principal amount of $370,656,000. This is a group that is buying it's a nonprofit buying a number of nursing homes in East Texas. The $370 million, part of that's going to acquire Marshall Manor. Is it East and West? Is that what they call that? They're also buying nursing homes. They're buying 15 of them in Bexar County, Bowie, Cass, Ellis, Harris, Harrison, Nacogdoches, Natchez, Smith, Travis, and Williamson counties. So they're going after a large bond for the purchase of nursing homes in each of those counties. Requires our county approval. Again, no cost to Harrison County. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, our motion passes 4-0. Item number 6 is consideration approval of the 2025 Savings Grant Contract Number C01702 with a term from September 1, 2024 through August 31, 2025. It's our annual savings grant statewide automated victim notification system, I think. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Number 7 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the appointments to Harrison County Child Welfare Board as listed. These are 1-year terms for Charlie Oliver, Ladarius Carter, Madison Hood, and Denver Thomas, and 2-year terms for Robert Johnson, Ruthie Smith, Pearlie Perkins, Angelia Mason, and Shonda Johnson. Is there a motion to approve the appointments for Harrison County Child Welfare Board?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Number 7 is consideration and action regarding the review and approval of the monthly recurring charge for 2 fiber optic communication lines for Harrison County Radio upgrade project. Good morning, Mr. Mays.
Good morning. How are y'all this morning?
Good.
Yes, sir. These are in regard to our radio communications upgrade system that has come along quite well. Up to this point, it's been a lot of paperwork flying back and forth and a lot of different legs to a great big octopus, but it's finally getting to a point where we're fixing to start seeing some activity. These are the 2 fiber lines that will be required, one from our Highway 449 new tower that TxDOT plans to build, coming into the Fulton Street tower that belongs to the, well, it doesn't belong to the city anymore, it belongs to AT&T now, but over at the old police department. The second line will be coming from the Enterprise tower down at Jonesville, back to the same location on Fulton Street. There's actually 2 parts to this, one that we don't see. There's a $5,000 installation fee, but that part is actually coming out of our already proposed Motorola budget, so that part's already being taken care of, and we should see paperwork flowing through on that shortly. This part is the recurring monthly charges, which will be, for both of these lines together, is going to be $1,490 a month. Now, we wanted to kind of propose a number back when we did budget this year, but we had really no clue. We didn't know what it was going to be. So we've just gotten this quote within the last 30 days. But tell me if I'm wrong, Courtney, I don't expect we're actually going to see charges on this for probably till the spring.
Yeah, so,
It's going to.
the bill is not due 90 to 100 days, but we can hold off on actually turning it on and
Okay.
getting it in right now, so that you're all in wait, and once you're ready to turn it on, then that's when we'll.
Very good.
Sounds great. Is there a motion to approve our 2 fiber optic communication lines for our radio project?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments?
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
do we need to make a correction? We have 2 number 7s for the record.
7A and 7B.
7, yep, the first one will be 7A, and the second will be 7B, yep.
That's a quick fix.
There you go. Thank you for catching that. All right, we got a motion and a second on 7B. Is there any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Number 8 is consideration and action requesting review and approval to enter into the proposed interlocal agreement with EDCOG and accepting the $750,000 contract for 1 communications tower to be built in northwest Harrison County. Mr. Mays.
Yes, sir. This, as you just described, that's exactly what this is. This is a 3rd tower that is going to be made available to us through this Homeland Security grant in cooperation with EDCOG, Gregg County, and also Tex Warren and TxDOT. Again, another octopus with a lot of moving parts. There's actually 3 signatures required on this document. There's 2 for you, Judge, and there's 1 for you, Becky. I don't know if you got a chance to look through this. But page 8 is they're requiring a signature from the finance officer, just saying that we know how to do it and we're going to do it. We're going to stick to the rules. But anyway, just so y'all know, Donita, I had actually invited her to be here today to explain any questions you might have on this that I can't answer, but she was unavailable, so she said we're more than welcome to do that at a phone call at a later time. But this is going to give us the ability to put that tower up in the northwest corner where we knew going in was going to be one of our weak spots, and we didn't expect to find a way to cure that problem for who knows, but the Homeland Security grant came along. This is about the 17th or 18th one that EDCOG has managed, and they've all worked very, very well. Same kind of deal. Every one of them has been just an octopus with just different legs. And it's worked out great, and they are kind of on board with the same thing that we're trying to accomplish, is trying to find, instead of everybody having one little communication system out here and there, is trying to find something where everybody can communicate together. And so that's their goal, is to help us achieve that. Our project prior to this, again, is going quite well. Again, the paperwork has been the biggest part of it. We've got a lot of it accomplished, and there's still more to come, but you're fixed to start seeing some activity. Motorola has already installed the equipment on the Fulton Street Tower. AT&T has got some remediation. It has to be done to that tower before that's completed. That tower actually was not capable of supporting all the weight of the new equipment without some beefing up of that structure. The TxDOT tower out at their facility out on the Loop, that's already been installed and is ready to go. All we're waiting on our Jonesville tower with Enterprise is just waiting for them to get their lease agreement back to us for us to sign. That's been a blessing in disguise. They're actually going to donate the use of that tower to us. It's not going to cost us a cent. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The 449 tower is on TxDOT's schedule to get built. Once it left Gordon's hands as far as getting it on schedule, he kind of loses track of when it's actually going to take place, but they'll give us a heads up as soon as they make plans to start on that. So we're moving ahead quite well. Still looking for a spring go date.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a huge project, and I really appreciate you getting involved. And Commissioner Hatfield and I were talking yesterday. You just got another grant approved yesterday for $24,000 for new radios for
Yes, sir.
Woodlawn
ESD
Fire
6,
Department,
yes, sir.
to get them on this new system. So
Yes, sir.
thank you for I mean, you're not just doing this for the county, it's fire departments and everyone else involved. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Glad to do it.
All right, is there a motion to approve this interlocal agreement with ETCOG regarding this new communications tower in the northwest part of the county?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much.
Sir.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Next up, item number 9 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the resolution and order in support of the establishment of a civil court alternative dispute resolution system, process and presentation by J.D. McMullen pursuant to Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Section 135.151 and Chapter 152. Good morning, Mr. McMullen.
Good morning, Your Honor, and to the gentleman of this honorable court. Is it okay if I stand here? I feel like I'd like the opportunity to also speak to the men and women here today that serve our community as well. That's what this is about, service. It's very important to me. Yes, y'all have seen some of these pictures and stuff, but my return after 30 years, the first thing I wanted to do coming home was to identify a way that I could serve the community. Because to me, that's the backbone of any strong community. And the first thing I found that was easy. It was a loophole based on a recent statute that I happened to be looking at since early 2022, because I was very curious. I've always been involved in, in dispute resolution in law school. I actually became a certified mediator before became a lawyer. Started the school's first student organization called ADR Advocates that's now competing and winning national championships, just like our advocacy team did back then. And I was thinking of a good analogy of the importance of when you return home. That it's, of course, everybody here is so welcoming, but I feel it's important to prove your worth and prove that you're worth consideration when it comes to future service. And I thought of, particularly as the sheriff mentioned Facebook, that, when I left a long time ago, let's just called Harrison County my girlfriend, and just left my girlfriend, moved to another county, and started serving that county. 30 years later, I find Harrison County on Facebook, start liking all of her photos, etc., and expect, hey, everything's perfect. But Harrison County says, I'm not that easy. I'm not going to accept your friend request. So this is my first step in showing you how excited I am to be back and how willing I am to serve this community. Here is a breakdown of all of my experience as to mediation and alternative dispute resolution. But this is also this is my kindergarten graduation at Hallsville, which you also see the peak of my growth spurt as well. Your Honor, if you wouldn't mind going to the next one. What I'm about to say to y'all will seem too good to be true. I feel like I am a used car salesman with these things out here, just saying, hey, this is so easy, don't worry about it. But it literally is this easy. What's not easy all the time is what comes from Austin. I'm not here to sell you, hey, get behind what they're pushing in Austin. I'm here to solve a problem that I've identified from Austin, which, bills come through the door all the time. And heck, it's hard even for attorneys to understand what they all mean. But the statute, or the bill at issue here, Your Honor, going back to the next one, is Senate Bill 41. It was co-authored by Senator Brian Hughes, became effective January 1st of 22. What it did was it almost doubled case filing fees, and it required the creation of 14 funds. And one of those funds is a county dispute resolution fund. And it's also the only fund that has a loophole that requires remittance. And in this instance, it's, if you don't have an ADR system, you gotta give us the money. And it's not money that Austin's in here in the first place. This is money from people who are filing lawsuits in the county. It's coming from that. It's not a tax. So, the problem, I first started by looking, this was right in September when I moved here. I looked at Harrison and Gregg County. I reached out to some of y'all here are familiar with my emails about asking for information, and slowly discovered that it wasn't just Harrison and Gregg County giving this money back to the state unnecessarily. It's pretty much every surrounding county, with the exception of some smaller counties up north, Red River, Delta, etc., that they're actually operating as a multi-county dispute resolution system through the services of Paris Junior College. But I'm here to try my best to explain what this all means and why it would benefit the county. Dollar figures, always important. And by the way, all of the numbers, stats, etc., I attempted to limit it from the beginning of January of 22 through June 30th of this year, meaning the first 10 quarters. And over that time, Harrison County has given back unnecessarily $60,000. I've sent a lot of public information requests to the comptroller, and what I found is EDCOG, all the 14 counties have collectively given back over $6 million. And when I was looking at what budgets could be for Harrison or Gregg County, it's a smaller number. Here we're looking at $25,000 as a base annual budget, hopefully. But when you look at the potential of pooling all of those counties together, the operating budget is at a minimum $750,000. And that's for a system that relies just on that fund. There are opportunities to also generate income independently from the filing fees. Example, Harris County, where I've lived most of my life since here, they've had a system in place for a long time. I volunteered as a mediator for their system, and it's all volunteer-based. No mediator gets paid, but they were ready when this came out. And as a result, they've kept over $3.5 million in the bank. And, you know, they got set up in the first place by private contributions, mainly through the Houston Bar Association. So they had funding to start right out the gate, unlike a lot of small counties, including this one. You know, how do we establish a system if we don't have funding? But let's start with just some basics. ADR, you're going to hear me say that a lot. That just means alternative dispute resolution, which layman terms, it's mediation. There's also arbitration, but mediation is what I'm hearing about. And ADR system just involves it's a place where we can send litigants to go work out the differences. It can be courtroom, it can be rented locations. The world's our oyster, so to speak. But it also provides more access to the judiciary system and provides a low-cost alternative for folks instead of seeing it all the way through trial. Because things get expensive the further you go. And one thing that I think is important to point out, most people might think that a mediator, you must be a lawyer. That's not necessary. So this system can also provide future job growth and opportunity for people who are looking for career changes. That, hey, you know what? I want to become a mediator, and the system could be set up to train and get everybody certified, within the working budget. How do we fix the loophole created from Senate Bill 41? Well, it comes directly from the Texas ADR Act, which has been around for almost 40 years now. Actually, Judge Evans was at our law school. We had a Center of Dispute Resolution, and that's where I got my certification. He was one of the pioneers when it came to ADR or mediation in the state. What it did is it established chapters 152 and 154 of the Civil Practice and Remedies Code. And within it determined that the policy of the state is to encourage early settlement, resolution of cases through things like mediation. And it assigned the responsibility to carry out that policy to the men and women who serve our judiciary. The most important part of these statutes is the absolute authority and discretion that it grants. The Commissioner's Court is the only court, the only authority in any county that can establish a dispute resolution system. In doing so, they've been granted the authority not only to establish, but to do all necessary acts to make the system effective. They can refer pending cases to the system for resolution. They can set fees, whether that's to charge litigants, maybe an extra portion of it, but nothing big, or to charge, to set the compensation for mediators if you're unable to have a system built completely of volunteers, which there are a lot of good-hearted people out there, but it's hard to always bank on a fully volunteer system. And so the most important thing right away, the most urgent thing I would say is the money. To stop the leaking of the funds back to Austin, it's critical to order the establishment of this system before the end of the year. We need to keep these fourth quarter funds because ultimately, without funding, we have no system. So we need time to, this $25,000, a year budget isn't, something we have right now. It would take collecting over 4 quarters to get to that number. So at a minimum, it's important to save for at least a year. But it could be, the consensus with everybody that, hey, you know what? What's best for Harrison County is we need to save for 5 years. That'll give us a little over 100 grand, and we can really start doing things. But that's the most important thing. And well, hey, what's the state going to do if we don't have an operating system? But we said we established one. Well, I would love to hear any anyone come down here from Austin and say, well, no, hey, small county, you're supposed to go ahead and raise your money. And the answer is, you created this law specifically to allow counties like this one to have the funding to have one of these systems. I mean, that's the clear answer to it. And, you know, it would also be, you know, I feel like it goes to due diligence in a sense of you want to have enough money to know exactly what to cover, what it will pay for, etc. So, I skipped something real quick. Just want to show you, so back to Harris County real quick.
I missed it.
Oh, I guess you didn't slide it in there. Okay. Well, some of y'all got the packets, but you can see, you know, these kind of forms are over my head when it comes to accounting, etc. But on this form, all Harris County had to say was, for line number 10, the county alternative dispute resolution fund. Y'all have those? Zeros. They didn't attach, hey, this is our numbers for the quarter. We had this many cases referred. We had this many settled. It was this case type versus that case type. No, it was zeros. That's it. The due diligence part of this. During at least the next year, it is absolutely necessary to figure out how a system would work, who would benefit the most from it, who should run it, etc. And a year is the least amount of time we should take because it's important we need to uphold everybody in the judiciary, the courts, the clerks, everybody involved. Because, I've had the opportunity to meet and speak with some judges. I've heard from some JPs. Some, hey, I don't need this. It's fine. This doesn't work for me. Or, hey, you know what? This is a good idea. I do see how this could work, and we do have some cases. It's a mixed bag. But it goes to the point. We need time to research and analyze information to decide which system works best for us. And in doing our diligence, we're going to start compiling that money. And generally that doesn't happen. Generally you can't take the time to save money. Generally you gotta rush through things where you're losing money. It's the exact opposite. We can take as much time as we want. We can save as much money as we want before we officially start the full operation of the system. The statutes do not provide any specific guidelines for this is how the system has to work. It doesn't. All it provides is suggestions. Who you can maybe contract out with to administer it, who you can give management authority to, like the County Bar Association, but it is a blank canvas. It is nothing but suggestions. There are no reporting requirements. Just as I mentioned with Harris County, there's no paperwork that you've got to send quarterly to say this is who's running it, this is the officers, etc. The justice cases. I just use this as maybe not all justices agree that a system would work for them, but this is just evidence that there is a volume of cases available to handle this. Current, as of July 1st this year, there was almost 4,300, and that was actually an increase over that 10-quarter period of almost 1,500 cases. And they were moving cases, no doubt about it. I'm pretty sure there were around 3,000 of them that came in, and about that same number went out. It's not that the justices or the judges aren't doing their job. It is nothing about that. It is how can we alleviate some of this volume of pending cases? I have within here have 6 different potential options of how the system could work. 2 of them, to me, I see as the best or clearest options. The first one is, we're going to rely on volunteer mediators, and we would use the funding to train mediators in the county to handle these cases. My understanding is there aren't a lot of practicing mediators in this county, so that would help, and probably bring down the charge of it as well. The settlement week option is, I feel like, is the best example of there's nothing to lose here. So it's been around for a while. Courts used it, and it's once or twice a year. The judges send the litigants down to settlement week and see if they can settle their cases during that week. And how it would work here is, well, let's say we got $25,000 a year. Well, we're going to use half of it during our first settlement week of the year. Get some space at the convention center. Cater it. Give the staff that work on this bonus budget for that. But just send them down there, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, at least you can say that you tried. You tried to use a resource you could to help your community. And then, you have the same go around too. But at the end of every year, the whole fund's gone. Unless, it could accumulate over the years. But I mean, I think, and it's actually in chapter 155 of the Practice Emergency Code. It's been around, but it's been for bigger counties, more than 150,000. But that's just a great example of one way this system could work using this money. There's the option of creating a county dispute resolution office with this money. I would think it would take a little more time than 1 year to establish something like that, but that would create county jobs, and it would lead to also training more individuals in this county to become mediators. And then we could charge minimal fees, as I mentioned. We could completely rely on the volunteers. But one question that I've gotten a lot is, well, isn't enough money to do anything? I mean, I disagree. I think the settlement week is one example of how it can work on a small scale. But all right, if we want to look at the big money, thanks to Judge Sims, he recommended me exploring this. And I had the pleasure of meeting with Judge Stout and meeting some of the EdCog members at their past meeting a couple weeks ago. And the amount of money that's available, it's crazy. I mean, $750,000 a year to work with. Oh, I apologize. $300,000. That's how much had been given back by EdCog. But not only is it that much, but if we're doing a Harrison County system, we will need to worry about paying for staff. Really, the necessary staff for this would be an intake and a court coordinator. Those two roles. And, send the cases from the court, and then I'm going to find the appropriate mediator. And that can be a huge expense when it comes to a system, the staff of it. But with EdCog, full disclosure, I've not read all the bylaws. I do not understand everything so far, but my understanding from Judge Stout is that staffing is available through EdCog, and that that could be expense that's alleviated from this, which would allow for even more use of this money. Well, why would we pay into something that we don't use? Well, Marion County, $5,000 over this 10 quarters. Well, it's a waste of our time. We wouldn't use it. Well, you never know when you might need to send it down there, but you're just going to give that money back to Austin because you currently don't see the opportunity to send litigants there. It's a misguided thought. And that's exactly what this due diligence period will cure for all of us. it'll help us identify the best system for this county, whether it's Harris County only, or it's a part of a bigger network. And there are many different ideas when it comes to how a system with EdCog would work. I don't want to confuse y'all with all those, but how basically it would work is I'm going to go around and try to get every single one of these counties before the end of the year to order the establishment of an ADR system for that county. And so we can all start saving as of the fourth quarter of this year. And then collectively, we'll pool our funds, save them, and a year, hopefully we have $300,000, if not more. And then ultimately, even then, each county will have the opportunity to walk away. You know what, I don't want anything to do with EdCog when it comes to this. I know that there's a great relationship there, but when it comes to this, that seems too broad a scale. We want to focus on what's important right here, and we don't feel like it covers all of those things. That's fine. That's fine. There's not going to be anything tying you down. You could also say at the end of the saving, you know what, we don't want a system. So we're just going to give this all this money we've saved, just give it back to the state, and then just go back to how we were doing it. Just giving money back to the state. And, I'm so committed to this that I've offered Judge Sims, and I'll offer it here to y'all today, I will work on a pro bono basis. I'm committed to this. I will advise the county, the court, as to the best process for this system throughout the next year. If anybody from the state comes down and says we're doing something illegal, I'll pro bono defend it as well. I've looked into all of this. I feel like I could almost be an expert. I've stared at this stuff so long, and I've looked at so many numbers, and I've sent so many public information at requests. And so I'm not some used car salesman waving my arms. I know this stuff. And all I'm asking is for the opportunity to come home and serve this county. And I feel like this couldn't be a better opportunity to reach a part of the community that hadn't been reached before. And I know also there may be questions, and so I have no issue with those. I love questions. I feel like they actually show exactly why we need time to explore things. So does anybody have any questions?
Mr. McMullen, before you take a question, I'd like to summarize, just make sure I've got a grip on what you're talking about. This alternative dispute resolution system, it's set up to handle civil disputes, not criminal, civil disputes outside of the court system.
Correct. Your Honor, there is a potential to handle a criminal case, but I'm not focused.
It can be handled with volunteers. And these cases are all pending cases in our court system already that could only go into this alternative dispute resolution if the judge sent them there.
Yes, sir.
They're not, this court's not going to send them there.
Yes, sir.
They're not going to choose to go there. It can only be referred if the judge or JP sends them there. So it's still completely within that court's discretion of where those cases go. They can handle it themselves, or if they see benefit in a mediator handling it, they can move a case to this ADR system. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And all the fees are still collected through our filing. The filing fees for court cases are still collected. Required to. All right. I think you guys have any other questions before? We need about 5 minutes. 5-minute break.
All right. Solidarity with E-Bar.
civil fee quarterly report, so birth certificates are civil fees.